Welcome to the real Flat Earth Friday podcast. It's August 8th, and if you've been around a while, you know what that date means. How are you doing this evening, brother? And happy birthday.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I'm it's great to be here. Thanks for everybody and all the well wishes. I'm excited tonight for the content. That's actually the most important thing is that we've got this opportunity ahead of us this month to actually expose and destroy the final experiment even more than we already have.
Yeah, so we have the opportunity where we can get in 3 Flat Earth Friday podcasts. This is the first of those 3 before the final False Dichotomy debate. And boy, what a bummer, what a letdown that announcement was from Will Duffy. I mean, what do you have to say about that?
Well, I mean, it's just like everything else Will does. It's steeped in like mysticism and in like this secretive type checkerboard black and white type Freemasonic nonsense where he like tries to have this hidden story, and he's everything that he's doing is to serve a psychological uh opposition proposition that he's trying to collect the thoughts of people's minds and control the narratives. And really what he's done is locked himself into a box. So we were excited to hear who is this final debate going to be, and who were the participants, and it ended up being Will versus supposedly everyone.
Everyone,
So
right?
there's a lot of problems with that. In my opinion, it's got to be one of the worst possible ways that you could actually have a correct debate.
Yeah, it's rigged. The whole thing is staged. It's been a false dichotomy from the get-go, and we've been calling it out the whole way. We've got so many timestamps to go through tonight that's going to show the track record of we were the first ones after Red's Rhetoric brought up this final debate thing that was supposed to take place in Antarctica. We were the first ones to cover it. And in that very first podcast, we were already giving the azimuth and elevation angles of the sun at 79 degrees south latitude accurate to 100th of a degree per second. That was the first time we covered it. And boy, there's a whole bunch of things. We were able to make predictions, things like Jaron was going to flip because we had already known that he introduced this whole sun doesn't set in Antarctica psyop in order to support the false dichotomy fake flat earth. That is the circular pressurized pizza dome model. So it was one thing initially that made Ron and I connect. That's we had both figured out the earth was not a spinning ball in space, and we had both figured out that it's not a pressurized pizza dome either. So we're in a situation right now where we've had a model for 8 years now. I actually interviewed Will Duffy, and there is a third model that needs to be brought into the conversation, yet this whole thing was set up as a false dichotomy to box us out of it, and they're just acting like we don't exist. So what we're going to be doing is for the next 3 weeks, we're going to be working at building up the audience to actually be able to fight for the truth. And it doesn't mean that you have to be a fully technical skilled debater where you have to go in and point for point go against Will. And if he says, well, how does the seasons work in your model? You don't have to go through and explain all that, and we're going to show you why. Because like Rana said, this false dichotomy psyop that Will has run has put himself into a box, and it's going to be his absolute undoing. Just the exposing of the fact that it's a false dichotomy, and that all third alternatives are being censored from the conversation.
So we're going to be getting into details as to why people create false dichotomies, what their pitfalls are, and why even evil people shouldn't use them either. It's got to be one of the stupidest possible things that you can do. And Will absolutely set up and walk into his own trap. He's like a bear trapper that stepped on his own bear trap. And we're going to be exposing that and showing that. And this goes all the way back to 2015. Anybody that actually has a heart after the truth, that's not invested in being a part of a cult or popular or being a part of the big clique, which sadly social engineering has led people into these types of cult-like mentalities. They go where the views are, they go where the clicks and the comments and the super chats are. And unfortunately, that's where all the lies and deceptions are. And what they did was, what I did was in 2015, I had already figured out that there were two poles in the sky, right? There was a North Pole, Polaris, and a South Pole, Sigma Octan. And the celestial stars circled around them in clockwise rotation in the southern regions of the Earth, of the flat Earth. And in Polaris, they circled counterclockwise. And all you have to do is get a camera and do time-lapse photography, the star trails, and you would be able to figure that out. So I figured that out in 2015, and I had an actual live stream with Jaron where I showed him, hey, man, the sun is actually circling towards the other direction off of the AE map. Your single pole pressurized pizza dome map doesn't work. And Jaron fully well knew back in 2016, it was September 11th, that we had the live stream. 2016. I showed Jaron, and he went on to be the guy that broke there's clips missing from the Antarctic 24-hour time-lapse footage, and he was the guy that really pushed that we can't go to Antarctica, and that he was the one that was chosen. And the entire time that him and Will have been together working on this, they have done nothing but say that there is no other model of flat Earth other than the pressurized single pole pizza dome, which is a globe Earth projection, the AE mapped model. We've been saying this for almost a decade. It's been 9 years I've been exposing and saying these things. What we want people to understand is they only have a false dichotomy. They only have two false choices. And what they want you is to fall into either or, this or that. You're either with us or you're with them. They don't want middle ground. They don't want anyone actually investigating and having open thoughts, having their own ideas. Everything like that has been completely shunned and silenced from the debate. And Jaron and Will and Michael Toon and Fight the Flat Earth, Craig McNeil, and all these other characters, Dave McKeegan, Dan, Simon Dan, what you're going to see is they have silenced the SBVR model. Awake Souls and myself have come up with another version of reality. And when polled, what was it, 4 million? Over 50% actually said that they thought that the Earth was actually a virtual reality, more than they did think it was a heliocentric Big Bang cosmology. So we already have the majority of the population actually believes what we do. They just haven't had the chance to hear our map and model. And what people are actually getting when they go out there and they say, this is a false rigged debate that Will has had. The entire experiment, the final experiment, was the creation of a straw man single pole pressurized pizza dome model that they already knew was debunked. It was a globe model with only one pole. You couldn't represent the southern constellations on the map. You couldn't show anything to do with the south. And they created this model so that they could debunk it. And that's why we created fundamental truth number 2 in the description box. We knew that the Earth was flat, right? And we knew that they were then going to create another model to debunk, to deflect away from the fact that the Earth was flat. And what they actually tried to do and are actively trying to do is tie the AE map and model pressurized pizza dome to the Bible. And then they brought out a quote unquote pastor, anything but, and they are using that to tie the two together and completely discredit the scriptures as well as the so-called flat Earth community.
Yeah. So what I want to talk about is participation. And I want to get a little spicy, a little salty. I want this one to sting a little bit for people. I want it to be a wake-up call, because it was over a year ago that this final false dichotomy was announced by Will Duffy. We've been covering it. We've had a true model of reality competition running the entire time, where we're comparing what we had, the 100th of a degree per second measurements of what the sun would be doing exactly where they're at in Union Glacier. And we've been covering the whole thing start to finish with the whole vape gate and every single person trying to say it was inside a a sphere studio type setup and just all this nonsense. And the whole time what we've been saying is like Ron has referenced, the fundamental truth number 2. It was in 2017. I think it's May 26th. We'll be bringing up some timestamps that we started standing on the first 4 fundamental truths. And number 2 called out a future false dichotomy psyop where we already named that the AE mappa model was a false straw man model designed to be taken down and be the win for the globe. And so this participation that I'm talking about right now is that this whole time, this is a competition for the true nature of reality, and there's only 3 models that can explain day and night. And that you've got to choose whether or not you're going to be a spinning spaceballer, you're going to be a pressurized pizza domer, or you're going to be a stereographic biblical virtual reality person. And so Will Duffy has actually put a timetable to this where he says October 23rd, if you don't come debate him, right, you've given up your claim to Earth being flat if you don't debate him. And so this is sort of a final roll call for everybody to actually get in on the truth's record and have some timestamps for actually fought for the true nature of reality. So I sort of tend to agree with them. If somebody like Will stages a debate like this, and the time comes along where you haven't made a decision and you can't defend, or you can't even recommend another model, you know, you sort of have just been lumped into the heliocentric cesspool, and you'll be one of them because the AE mappa model was debunked.
Absolutely. It's been debunked 7,777 times from Sunday. Jason and I have hundreds of videos, hundreds of hours. We were the ones long before Michael Toon, Dave McKeegan, and Simon Dan even had channels. We had already destroyed the single pole pressurized pizza dome model. And that's why we were kicked out of the flat earth cult, because of Jaron and his excommunication skills. And sadly, people that we've now mended with, like Mark Sargent and other characters like that, made sure that nobody said our names, and we were excluded from the conversation the entire time. For almost a decade, Jason and I have been silenced, and nobody even knows what the SBVR model is. But listen, let's take it down. Let's settle it down. This is your opportunity. On the other side of the screen, you're alive. You're here on the playing field. You're not a disembodied spirit floating around in heaven. You're not stuck in hell in the lake of fire. You're alive. You have breath in your lungs. You have a voice. You can speak. You can type. And this is your call to action. This is the reason you're alive. It's to fight for the truth. It's how you found us. It's why you've been selected. It's why you're literally here. You may be someone that's quiet in the background that have been watching for years. Time is now. This August 23rd, all you have to do is join a debate with Will Duffy and tell him that the false dichotomy, his experiment, his debate was a false dichotomy. That's all you have to say. You don't have to. You don't have to tell them how to prove where the sun goes and how the SBVR model. You don't need to do any of that. That is when Will Duffy and Michael Toon have a debate against Jason and myself. That is when we're all going to be learning and getting talking points and moving to the next stage. Right, Jason?
Yeah, so we've proposed a September 1st debate against Will Duffy and Michael Toon. And it makes sense. I mean, those are the characters that went to Antarctica. They try to take the lead in this globe shilling program that's going on.
Yep.
And
they're Christians.
We're the flat earthers that remain standing because our model wasn't debunked. They actually went and proved our model to be true and accurate. So we want to have that type of debate on Will Duffy's channel, guaranteed to never be taken down. And what we want to do is to get into that debate. What we want to do is prep our audience to come into his false dichotomy psyop final debate and and let everybody know that there's another model to contend with and that you have to debate us. Otherwise, it's not final.
No, it's
Right?
completely, it's rigged. It's discredited. His credibility is gone. And when we start to learn about what false dichotomies are, everyone's going to see that they destroy person's credibility. They destroy any cult, any movement, any government, any political party, anyone that uses false dichotomies. It's suicide. Like the opening song said, it's a suicidal move. And there's no doubt in my mind that Will took this path because it's the most easy path towards mind controlling the population into believing something that's not true. Are we getting into some slides now? Do you want to get into the presentation, do a little bit of this going into it? And again, I'm going to tell everybody, all you have to do is join the debate and ask Will why he created a false dichotomy and excluded the SBVR model from the topic, from the debate. That's it. That's all you have to say.
Yeah, so we've got a bit of an outline that we've prepared here. This is a PDF that I have a link in the description box that you'll be able to access. So the goal is to make this really simple for you all and to oversimplify it. And so we're going to be going through and giving people just ways to reframe this entire debate, ways to make it so simple for you, where all you have to do is copy and paste some simple YouTube comments or YouTube chat comments, and that in doing this, you'll actually have timestamps for having been involved in fighting for the true nature of reality. So we really want people to be able to do this, and we know that not everybody's going to be able to go live and join the debate against Will Duffy and do it in a face-to-face or just voice-to-voice type setting, and that some will be in the chat and some will be in the comments. But we really want you to participate. That is such a big thing. So
yeah, you don't even need to go on camera, right? And we're going to be doing a StreamYards podcast before his debate, and you'll be able to join us and practice. We're going to go through everything. We're going to make it really simple, and what we really want is for you to participate.
Yeah, so our goal for these next 3 podcasts is to expose the false dichotomy as a deliberate psyop, mobilize our audience to demand fair debate terms, equip our audience with sharp takedowns and strategies to resist the rigged narrative, create momentum leading into the debate so that the fake pastor Will Duffy can't suppress the third option without public backlash. This is where we need y'all right here. It takes a team of people to come up and say, you've been deleting my comments, that you've been, cutting out the third option from the debate. So phase 1, this is what we're doing tonight. Mobilization and framing. This is podcast number 1 on 8/8/25. The false dichotomy trap. So objective, educate your audience on how psyops use false dichotomies to control debates and discredit valid alternatives. This right here is what Ronnie has a presentation prepared for. All right, do you want to go through that now?
I think you can go through a bit more, and then we'll get into that.
So the content focus is defining the false dichotomy psyops. We really want, everybody's heard that term thrown around. Oh, it's a false dichotomy, or that's a straw man. So what is it really? And we're going to get down to the nuts and bolts, nitty gritty of that. Explain how creating only 2 false opposing sides, that is the space ball versus the pizza dome, is a manipulation technique. You got to understand that you're being mentally controlled, manipulated by only being given those 2 options. So historical examples, the fake flat earth AE map planted as a straw man by controlled opposition. We've got the timestamps that go back to May 26th of 2017, where fundamental truth we began standing on, and the false dichotomy between a globe versus a pressurized pizza dome was already called out that far back. Let's go ahead and show everybody this. That took place September 21st. It was the fall equinox of 2017. We were promoting what we wanted to do is the world's longest water level, the Guinness Book World of Records experiment, where we would put out 3 miles of hose and act like we were building a seawall along here, where we would set posts and we would use a surveyor to actually optically sight from post to post to post, marking along this whole distance, and that we would use a water hose 3 miles long where we would pull it up on each end to check and see if we had the same thing at the end. So if it was a globe and you maintained an absolutely perfect horizontal line along a beach like this, you would get to a point where the wall would get taller and taller and taller because of the earth curve.
That's right. Above sea level. The measurement was above sea level, right? Which is in the word itself, sea level. It's not sea curvel, right? This is the thing. The horizontal horizon is level all around us, right?
But back in this podcast, we began standing on what we call the first 4 fundamental truths. And that second one, this is written exactly the way it was back then. If you look at a current description box, it's been tuned up a little bit because of the final false dichotomy experiment. But this said, the AE map model is impossible, created and disseminated primarily by the Freemasons to destroy the credibility of the Bible with an easily debunked model that they've worked so hard to try and link the Bible to. All right.
Yeah.
If you've heard somebody say the word firmament or anything like that, that is a New World Order agent that's trying to connect the discreditable fake flat earth to the Bible.
Right.
Did you want to?
I am ready.
Go into, let's go ahead and
let's learn about the false dichotomy fallacy, everybody. Hopefully you're settled in. Maybe you can watch this a few times. Take things slow at your own pace. First, shout out to Whitey, the best moderator, obviously, in the realm and every possible realm. Huge shout out to the Goldsmith for always the new music. Been some great music. We still got 3 great brand new songs. They all could have been intro songs. We try to bring out more than just truth, more than just information. We try to bring out, good vibes and good music. And we also want to learn together. So that's
you are presenting, brother.
That's the main thing here, is that we learn together. Okay, we break through the black and white Freemasonic divisionary tactics, the fallacies, for the lack of a better term. The false dichotomy fallacy, history, nature, and why it's useless. It says here, especially for evil. Okay, this is a quick, short presentation. Again, the false dichotomy fallacy, history, nature, and why it's useless. I'll repeat myself, especially for evil. This is a Team Yahweh presentation, and I'll be your presenter for this quick slideshow here. Let's get into this. So, content here. What is a false dichotomy? Its historical origins. Why false dichotomies persist. False dichotomies used for evil. The danger zone. Why false dichotomies are useless, right? As the title said, even for evil. Real world examples of false dichotomy failures. How to identify and avoid false dichotomies. How to identify and avoid false dichotomies. That should be only once. Conclusion beyond black and white. Okay, then through slides 11, 12, 13, and 14, we're going to look at some modern examples, and then we'll get through it again. I don't know why it's doubled there on me, but let's get into it. Okay, what is a false dichotomy? A logical fallacy presenting only 2 options as the sole possibilities, right? And usually the 2 options that are presented are incorrect, right? Also called, this is other names, false dilemma, either or fallacy, black and white thinking. Gee, Jason, who is it that does a lot of black and white thinking?
That would be the Freemasons.
Oh, do you think they adopted and use and divide everybody through false dichotomies?
Yeah, because it gives them the opportunity to play both sides, right? So I'm a chess player, And I'd be so angry if I ended up in a chess tournament where my opponent was allowed to play both sides.
Your side,
and I wasn't allowed to make any moves. I mean, that is the rigged game that we're talking about right now.
And
right?
they just set up the checkmate for themselves.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Will has done with this final experiment. An example, quote, "You're either with us or against us." That's false dichotomy language. Because reality is often much, much, much more complex than just two single choices. The false dichotomy forces a simplistic either or choice, ignoring other possibilities that might exist, especially the stereographic biblical virtual reality that we stand founded upon through actual, observable, repeatable evidences, like the earth is flat, and that the sun rises up from beneath the ground and then sets back into that ground. And as it does it, clouds are behind it. It rises with trees behind it. Okay, it's not just some crazy crackpot conspiracy theory that we've cooped up. We've actually spent a decade creating information and evidence to back up what we say. Let's look at the historical origins. So it roots in, you guessed it, ancient Greek philosophy. Aristotle studied fallacies, right? You got the Red's retarded rhetoric, right? Aristotle's topics highlighted improper argument framing. So that what they did was they tried to come up with every possible way to frame an argument from both sides. And this is how the false dichotomy was born.
What was the newest fallacy that we came across?
Whoa, you'll have to tell me.
Oh, I thought it was the stolen concept fallacy.
Stolen concept fallacy. That's like where somebody says something from the movie The Matrix, and then they try to attribute that to a simulation when the Matrix is clearly a virtual reality. So anyone that believes in the simulation then uses points that are virtual reality. You are stealing the concept of that reality, right? And that's what we find ourselves.
We're against the fallacies, all of them.
Yeah. After this, maybe we'll have a detailed fallacy podcast, but right now it's the false dichotomy fallacy. So the modern logic, 19th and 20th centuries explicitly analyzed false dichotomies. This is where it was super popularized. Understanding false dichotomies dates back to thousands of years, with philosophers emphasizing the need to avoid oversimplification. So what did Will Duffy do? He came out and he created the absolute most simple possible this or that scenario that he could. Correct? It's either
absolutely.
It's either
two choices, binary.
It's either a ball or it's
one or the other.
Single pole pressurized pizza dome with the sun circling up in the sky, never rising, never setting. It was either or, and that's all it is. So I think this would be a good time, Jason, for us to go to a song break.
All right. We will take a break and be right back.
I can. You don't agree. Look down on me. Every time I try to find a better way, you tell me that it's wrong and you complain. Salt water wash my brain. I don't wanna go insane. All this shit that gets to me, I just wanna set it free, mistakes, I'll try again. Don't make that face, act like a friend. All you ever see is what's in front of you. If you don't look beyond, you'll stay the same. Salt water wash my brain. I don't wanna go insane. All this shit that gets to me, I just wanna set it free. I'll take all the blame. You can call me lame. I won't let it get to me. I'm just gonna set it free, baby. I'll be me, you be you. Let's go, let's go. plan. I'll see it through. Open up your eyes, you'll see it too. But every time I try to find a better way, you tell me that it's wrong and you complain. Salt water wash my brain. I don't wanna go insane. All this shit that gets to me, I'm just gonna set it free. I'll take all the blame. You can call me lame. I won't let it get to me. I'm just gonna set it free. Salt water wash my brain. I don't wanna go insane. All this shit that gets to me, I'm just gonna set it free. I'll take all the blame. You can call me lame. I won't let it get to me. I'm just gonna set it free.
Some good tunes tonight, everybody.
Saltwater, right?
Yeah, I
Salt.
like both of those. The
Yeah.
first two songs. I know I really like the third coming up,
Yeah.
and the finals really good too. What a great night of music.
It really did. It just turned out that way. We've got some epic intro songs, but all the way through the podcast, I'm really grateful for that. Music is definitely such a dear passion to me. So is the truth, right? And sharing that information with you, the audience, and learning together, right? That's what I'm really interested in. My old age. So here we have why false dichotomies persist. Right? Am I screen sharing? Can you all see my laser pointer?
You are presented.
That's great. Okay. So false dichotomies persist because they simplify complex issues for easier argumentation. Right. So talking about the shape and nature of reality is it's very complex. Okay. Only by the grace of the Heavenly Father through his son, Yahushua, am I even able to be here presenting to you right now, his grace alone. Because this has got to be the most complicated thing. We're actually discussing the nature of reality and creation and why we're here and where we are. Your worldview is so important. So important, right, Jason?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think that you are space dust that came from no creator and are just an accident, and that you're here for a minuscule amount of time, and that nothing of you will endure, you're gonna live your life much differently than if you believe that you're in a created realm that has a creator, that has rules, and because it's a virtual reality, you have the opportunity to be reborn and keep reincarnating over and over. So the way you live your life actually does matter.
Yeah.
Basically, every choice you would make in your life changes depending on your worldview.
Yeah, you can either be respawned in a place where you can make a difference, or you can be trapped in a lake of fire for eternity, being tormented. Okay, it's very important that you understand your worldview and that you run as far away from anybody that tries to simplify the argument into a false dichotomy. So why false dichotomies persist? It appeals to emotions like fear and loyalty. Okay, everybody. So what Will did was he created an argument that would create disloyal and loyal participants on both sides. And he's been working in the tactics of fear. He's been trying to threaten and ridicule and mock and make everybody that believed in flat earth fear it, because they're going to be embarrassed that big Pastor Will's going to come in with the big bang and debunk them all, and who's going to be loyal, right? So another reason why false dichotomies persist is because it's effective in politics, advertising, and propaganda. This is how the NPCs are controlled. They're put into a this or that situation. Listen, Christ said that any house divided shall not stand. And what do? A false dichotomy is a divisionary tactic, pure and simple. That's what it is. Okay. Jason, do you want to comment before I continue?
No, keep going.
False dichotomies persist because humans naturally prefer clear categories. right? Well, there's a third category in the final experiment debate, and that is that we live in a virtual reality created by the creator of the Bible. You weren't given that category. It's okay to make categories. We want that. That's all we do. Categorize everything right down to the pixel, but you can't create two only and exclude others. Okay. Other reasons why false dichotomies persist is because people find comfort in simple choices. Making false dichotomies is a powerful but very, very dangerous tool. For those who wield it, it's a double-edged sword. Right, Jason?
Absolutely.
So false dichotomy used for evil. Let's get into the danger zone. So manipulation tool, right, to force polarization of choices, right? They want to polarize you. They only want this or that. They want, if you didn't believe that the sun circled above an AE map 3,000 miles up, never setting, never rising, just like Dean Odell was kicked out of a debate, the mic was literally thrown at him. Or no, he threw it and then the other pastor smacked it out of the air back at him because he said that the sun did not rise or set. And that's anti-biblical, everybody. But this is what they work together to polarize it. You have to believe that there's a single pole, Polaris, and that everything circles around it, even though all you have to do is take a flight to anywhere south of the equator and you see a whole other region of stars circling around another point. Okay. False dichotomies are used for evil, right? Because it deepens societal divisions. Us versus them. This is Azazel's oldest trick in the book. What did he do?
Left versus right.
Yes.
All that kind of stuff. It's just this or that, us versus them. Two choices always. Keep it simple, right?
Azazel came in and said, oh no, surely he divided Eve from the creator. Did he? Surely he did not say that she would die. Right away caused the division between what Eve knew. Right. So other reasons why dichotomies are used for evil is because it silences moderate or dissenting voices. Right. So all Will has to say, which he has said, you're able to come in and debate. There's only two choices, he said, flat earth or globe earth. Right.
When he says flat earth, he only means pressurized pizza dome.
The AE map and model, the single pole pressurized pizza dome globe projection, where they squashed it and pulled the bottom pole to the whole entire exterior of the map. Other reasons why dichotomies are used for evil is because, here's an example, totalitarian rhetoric, right? Oh, gee, who's read satanic rhetoric? Political campaigns and media sensationalism. These are the reasons why they do this. You'll always hear Trump does it constantly. It's him against everybody else. Trump does nothing but create false dichotomies, okay? False dichotomies shut down dialogue and empower authoritarian or manipulative agendas. You understand? This is one of the most manipulative tactics that anybody in the modern day time period can use against the public. And this is exactly what Will Doofus did.
Yeah, I mean, it's an agenda to remove having a creator as an option, right?
Yeah.
That's why it's so ridiculous that it's supposedly a pastor that's running this, because the entire Spaceball lie was made up to create an excuse for atheism.
Absolutely. That nothing created everything. And here you are 13 billion years later, YOLO, and you only live once and you're going to die. So, live as fast as you can, do as many satanic sinful things as you can, do as thou wilt, is what the heliocentric model produced. Why false dichotomies are useless. Why? Guess what? Even for evil. You heard that, Will. Oversimplification backfires against manipulators. Will's got a backfire on his way. Someone put a banana in his tailpipe. It limits real problem solving with narrow options. There's no way that you could create an algorithm to have any type of a model think and you only give it two choices. It's going to be really slow and it's not going to be able to evolve. Okay. It erodes credibility once recognized, as a fallacy. So right from the very jump, Jason and I were screaming, Will created a false dichotomy. You had him on live. And you said, why won't you accept there's another model? And he tried to mock you and ridicule you. Where does the sun go, Jason? When it comes up here, does it come over here? Right? What happens? Pac-Man's from one side to the other. He ridiculed any other ideas other than his false dichotomy. You know why? Because that's all he has. Because he's already lost the debate, ladies and gentlemen. It causes backlash and instability. His team are on very shaky ground right now. I can hear the rumbling beneath the feet of the globe Earth shills right now. They know what's coming. They know. Red's retarded wouldn't debate us a second time. If he won so greatly as they proclaimed, and him and Double D Hufford ran around saying they were the heroes of the world, right? Why wouldn't they have a rematch? We went there multiple times and said, let's have another debate, boys and girls. Nope, they wouldn't do it, right? MC Toon, Michael Toon, and Will Duffy know what's coming, and they're terrified. Even those who use false dichotomies to manipulate risk undermining their own goals. Will could have had listen, if Will had an honest, genuine, pure heart after the truth, he could have come to us and said, hey, do you guys want to help me? I've got a great way that we can prove the best possible version of reality. We can work together. We can have all the different models, and we can have like a showdown where everybody debates. And then at the end of it, whatever has the most amount of evidence and the best realistic understandings will be crowned the champion. But that's not what he did, is it? What did Will do,
Nope.
Jason?
But he excluded the third option.
He created a false dichotomy. Real world examples of false dichotomies and their failures, right? Political polarization leading to legislative gridlock. So it shuts down governments that are put in place to create laws and rules and to help the public. When the two sides, the left versus right, the Democrat versus the Republican, they create these dichotomies, and then nothing ever gets done, but they get paid. Public health debates reduced by pro you know what and anti you know what. I can't stay too long on these points, but
they never take you to real health. It's like having that that Joker that they've named.
You're either one or the other. You're either this or this. You can't be somewhere in the middle, right? Corporate campaigns overly simplifying consumer choices, right? You only get to choose between Coke or Pepsi. That's a false dichotomy. These are examples. These examples show how false dichotomies failed to capture the nuance needed for progress. Listen, Jason and I have always been about what, Jason?
Yeah, progressing,
learning, right? That's it.
There's no stopping, just keep going. And it's a never-ending process. You don't get to the end of the road where you know it all.
It's limitless. There's always more. Just like the scripture said, if you ask, you shall find. He didn't say at the end of asking, you're going to find it all. It's forever. It's limitless. It's eternal. Just like the creator we serve. How to identify and avoid false dichotomies, ladies and gentlemen. These are some simple things. And when we're done this small presentation, we're going to get into some more of these that we want you to actively participate in. Okay. You don't have to be a genius. Like, I don't have to be a genius. Jason doesn't have to be a genius to point out that Will created a false dichotomy. That's all you have to do in this debate. But here, these are other ways that you can identify and avoid a false dichotomy. Okay. Ask, are there really only two options? All right. Will was asked. Jason asked him. It was Sean G that brought it up first,
and Jaron.
And first it was Jerry. First it was Jerry. Then after Jerry, it was Sean G. And they both warned him. He knew. And then he came on and said, "Oh, I don't know about your model." But then all of a sudden, halfway through that, he said he also talked to Andrew Marsh and that our model's a globe, right?
Yeah, he did say all that.
Okay. Watch for oversimplified either or language. Okay. If people start saying it's either this or that, you've got a problem. Jason and I are telling you that everything that we research actually has limitless possibilities. My YouTube channel is called the Limitless Channel. It's not the this or that channel.
Well, and remember, everything breaks down to gradients of a thing, there is no such thing as opposites. Like you can't have an opposite of an apple.
Yeah, what would that
can't
be?
have the opposite of a tree or a basketball or any of those things. They don't have opposites. There's just gradients. You might have
spectrums.
You might have a certain kind of apple. It might be a Macintosh or it might be a Yellow Delicious, right?
Yep.
But there's no opposite.
Nope.
A red apple's not the opposite of a green apple.
There's not black or white. We have a full spectrum of light, visible and invisible. Okay, so continuing on to avoid and also identify, seek nuance, alternatives, and context. Context is everything. If Will Duffy said, I've got the final debate, people should have asked them, I need more context. Are you excluding other possibilities like the concave reality? It's not just Jason and my stereographic biblical virtual reality. There's other ones. There's hollow earth theory, where people believe we live inside of a sphere. You can go into it. People think we're inside of a sphere of a universe. There are other contexts, there's other alternatives that we need to also look at, right? And whatever one best repeatedly holds up to evidence and measurements is the one that we hold fast to. Okay, encourage critical thinking and open dialogue. Anyone that is honest that you want to be around, how to avoid people who are false dichotomy pushers, they don't encourage critical thinking. They won't. They're going to tell you you're stupid. You're Pac-Man believer. Oh, you think you live on a concave Earth? Oh, Earth is rising, huh? You're a retard, they'll say. They're going to mock you. Questioning assumptions helps break the trap of false dichotomies. So question. That's, since I was old enough to mutter sounds out of my mouth, I was asking questions, and I still am, okay? Recent false dichotomies where the framing went wrong and had damaging consequences. Of course, Will's TFE has been very damaging. He just doesn't even realize it yet because he's such a narcissistic person. You're either with us or against us. Post 9/11 politics were very, very damaging. U.S. political rhetoric, especially after 9/11, the dichotomy was support the war on terror or be seen as siding with terrorists. You remember this, Jason?
Oh yeah, you're with us or you're against us.
That was literally what Bush said, right? We got to go to war and blow up these people, and nobody had open thought. Okay, problem. The framing left no room for nuanced positions like opposing terrorism and questioning the legality or morality of certain military actions. Should we be going, 10,000 miles away and blowing up people because buildings fell down in our neighborhood, right? Without actual investigation. Impact, well, they silenced dissent, contributed to controversial wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and eroded public debate. We've had the Patriot Act. I won't be able to, if I continue, we'll be taken right off the air. Here's more of these real life false dichotomies. Security or privacy, surveillance policy. Like, this is terrifying when you hear people saying, we're either going to give you security or privacy. You can have one or the other. I mean, what?
No, I want both.
Post-Patriot Act era in the U.S. and other countries, the dichotomy, choose either national security or personal privacy. This is where they've openly told us that everything we say, everything we do is being documented, right? Everywhere we go, we've got Palantir now is moved past the Patriot Act. Problem presents them as mutually exclusive, right? This is what Will Duffy's doing. Mutually exclusive is either the globe or the pressurized pizza dome, ignoring the possibility of designing security systems to protect privacy. Is that too hard to do? It's not, right?
Shouldn't be.
The impact was to lead to mass surveillance programs, NSA bulk data collection with long-term civil liberty concerns and losses. The erosion of our freedoms have been a very slippery slope. And we're headed into the, what, if you don't take this, if you don't have this identifier, hey, you're not allowed to participate in society. And that is right around the corner. Let's keep going. We've got a few more. Capitalism versus communism. I know people over in Estonia will probably understand this one. Cold War propaganda where U.S.-Soviet relations between the years of 1947. Oh, why did it do that? 1947 and 1991. The dichotomy, the only choices were unregulated capitalism or authoritarian communism. This is the false dichotomy that they created, everybody. It was either you're with the U.S. and you just buy, eat, slop, feed, and consume, or you're with the authoritarian communism and they'll give you your bread rations per week, right? The problem, well, it overlooked hybrid economic models like social democracies that balanced markets and welfare systems. I guess Canada rightly is sort of like that, but they give up more than like 47% of their taxes. It's just gone authoritarian. Communism is more or less of a, an open hybrid model. Impact: justified extreme policies on both sides, fueled proxy wars, and prevented the consideration of alternative systems. Listen, these false dichotomies have been a pitfall, but they've been disastrous for whoever has wielded them. It's ended in severe consequences. We can go into Rome too. We can look at Rome. Jason, do you have a comment before I keep going? We're almost finished.
No, keep going.
Continuing with real life false dichotomies where the framing went wrong and had damaging consequences. Jobs or the environment. So energy and the environment debates, dichotomy, economic growth and job creation or environmental protection, right? Ignores evidence that renewable energy can create jobs and economic benefits like hydrogen technology, fuel cell technology, where you don't even need to have oil wells or gas stations anymore. Dry hydrogen.
Wave technology.
Wave technology. In Denmark, they've got river systems now that just turn under the water, not abating or stopping fish from flowing through the river. They just turn and they can be all linked together and they can power up to 10 houses per turbine. Okay. All this has been silenced because they've said either A, you're destroying the earth with this supposed technology, right? Or you have to put a windmill, which actually destroys the earth. Okay, the impact. What it did was it stalled climate action in many regions by making it seem like environmental protection always harms workers. So they shut down actual good ways, like nuclear power. They call it nuclear. It's boiling water. It's taking a type of steel that's naturally just hot, heating it up a bit and turning a turbine. It's the safest, cleanest way to generate power. They've said it was disastrous. So conclusion, okay, let's go beyond black and white. Jason and I went beyond flat earth almost a decade ago, ladies and gentlemen, a decade. We went what was called beyond flat earth. Now, never going beyond black and white. And we want you to join us, okay? False dichotomies are tempting, but dangerous traps. They distort truth and deepen conflicts. Understanding them empowers wiser decision-making. Reality is a spectrum, not a yes or no. Recognizing complexity is key to avoiding manipulation and fostering understanding. That's what we're here tonight to do, okay? And we want you to understand. It's very important to us that you understand why Will Duffy created a false dichotomy where he set up two impossible versions of reality. And he gave you a straw man one that was completely impossible because it lacked a second pole. We all know there's two poles in the sky. Okay. Everybody that lives south of the border, south of the equator can see that, hey, there's a giant cross that circles clockwise around a spot down here that you guys don't see. Right? Uh-oh. It's time we all wake up. It's time we go beyond black and white. Jason, do you want to take the screen share? Let me know when it's gone. Are you putting us back on camera? What are we doing here?
Let's go ahead and take our next break.
All right.
And then when we come back, we'll be on camera and
let's go
through the rest of this. Good music tonight, huh?
We're back. Yes.
All right. So we're back into this is sort of the outline that we're going to be using for the next 3 weeks. And so let's just go through this. This is what we want to get you all prepared for. And this is how we're recommending going about it. So one of the most important things, Ron just went through it, is exposing the straw man setup. That's fundamental truth number 2. The AE map was designed to be easily debunked. This tie this into the upcoming debate. They want you to believe it's their fake map with a dome or their fake space ball. So call to action. This is for y'all. Ask your audience to comment third option or no debate on all debate promotional videos. So we're going to be going through some timestamps that we've got. Will Duffy, when he put up his post for this final debate, it was a premiere. So it was up there with a chat that anybody could go into and you could be dropping comments. Right? This is, you could even before the video was premiered, you could leave comments. This is spiritual warfare, everybody. It's 2025 and you're in a virtual reality. And the way you do spiritual warfare is through your commenting. So there's hashtags, False Dichotomy Psyop and hashtag demand third option. This is all about demanding just the opportunity for us to be in the debate. So phase 2, this is going to be our next podcast, just letting you all know what's coming up. This is going to be arming with tactical takedowns, debunking the straw man with precision. So the objective of this will to be provide the viewers with specific sharp arguments to use in chats, comments, and during the debate to collapse the straw man model framing. Content focus. This is going to be bulletproof takedowns. Why the AE map, the single pole pressurized pizza dome model, is geometrically impossible. We're going to give you some of the technical stuff, but we're also going to be making sure that that's not what you try to focus in on.
No.
It's not necessary for you to be able to go in and win the debate yourself. We've prepared for this for the last 8 years. We can do it no problem. We just need people to demand us the opportunity to do that, right? So tactics for the audience. We're going to be helping people come up with the questions that force the debate to expose its own rigged premise. This is what we'll be working on next week. There are specific questions that you can use to show that this was a rigged debate. We're going to be talking about how to avoid getting baited into defending the Freemason New World Order pressure dome or the SBVR model. It's not even necessary. You can just say, there's another model I know of that I feel it's unfair to not allow it in the debate. And we're going to be providing copy-paste comments. So we've got a list of 25 that we're going to be sharing tonight. And I think each week we'll be adding another 25. But what we would like to do is if you're using these comments and you run into situations where you feel like you need something a little bit different, we need the input from y'all to be able to fine tune these copy paste comments that we're going to be recommending people use.
They'll be in a pinned comment below the video with other, help and advice. Again, this week we're just keeping it simple. The idea is, it's not an idea. The objective is to expose that Will is running a false dichotomy, period. That's it. You just can say false dichotomy 1,000 times and he can't deny it because that's what he's done. And it's actually his complete undoing.
Yeah. So what we're trying to achieve is transforming our audience into a counterforce that hijacks the narrative and exposes the rigged debate as illegitimate. So this is the type of stuff to get into your head. This is not their final debate. It's the opening of a real debate.
That's
if
right.
you have that in mind and you're talking to people in a chat or comments, this isn't the final debate. It's the opening to the real one. Audience will function as debate integrity watchdogs. So if you're not the type of person that's going to join and go live on something like this, you're in there to be a watchdog, to catch censorship and all that type of stuff. So we'll see how far we get, but that's organizing third option interruption rates. So depending on what content shows up, might try to organize raids. It only took 3 of us to absolutely completely disrupt the premiere that Will did for this final debate. So we're going to be pushing for public debate moderators who aren't controlled opposition. Well, Will plans on just being the moderator himself. So it's the duty of everybody to call him to the floor when it's unfair and say that this isn't being moderated properly. So the psychological strategy here is you win by making the rig structure visible. That's all you got to do. That's the win.
It's simple. That's it, period. It's really simple.
Shift the focus from debating the wrong models to debating why the third option is forbidden. Make that shift. So the call to action here is to encourage our audience to attend the debate. That's going to be number 1. Will Duffy says that if you're not there, if you're not fighting for your model of reality, that you've conceded and that you're just a spaceballer now and you've lost your opportunity to actually fight for the truth. That is what he is saying. And I'm sort of apt to agree. Like, it's time, people, that you actually choose a model of reality. So amplifiers here, we are going to be inviting guest experts who will vouch for the importance of considering the third option. So that doesn't mean that you have to have a different model of reality. Just if you understand that false dichotomies are a serious error, a fallacy, and you can give testimony that it's important to include third options, then yeah, we could use some people to testify to that. There's lots of visuals that we plan on releasing. A debate psyop family tree infographic. I think there was even a bingo type graphic where you could spot the logic fallacy on a bingo card, and we'll see who
That'll be fun.
Gets a bingo, right? We'll be dropping videos, a pre-debate video. We're going to have these 3 podcasts. So the empowerment, here's how we're going to flip the psychological script and empower our audience to become unshakable debate disruptors. That's what we want you to own. This title right here, everybody. Be a debate disruptor, even if they don't feel like experts in the Stereographic Biblical Virtual Reality model. Strategic reframing, that's turning viewers into debate disruptors, not defenders. So core principle to instill in the audience: you are not here to defend a model. You're here to demand that the real debate be allowed to happen.
Over and over again. You're not there to teach anyone about the SBVR. You're there to say, Will, why have you excluded it from the debate? And until you have them in the debate, nothing's final.
So most people will shy away from debates because they think they'll be put on the defense, they'll be ridiculed for not knowing every technical answer, and we need to flip your role from defender to debate watchdog and integrity enforcer.
Yes.
So reframing the talking points for our audience: you don't need all the answers. You only need one question. Why is the SBVR model forbidden from the discussion? We're going to teach our audience that their power is in the questions they ask, not in technical data. Rehearse the mantra: I'm not here to debate your false dichotomy. I'm here to ask why you fear the third option.
Over and over and over again. We really need people to say that. I'm not here to debate your false dichotomy. I'm here to ask why you fear the third option.
To force the opponent to defend the false premise, audience members are to keep redirecting. Before you ask me to defend a model, explain why your model relies on discrediting a provably fake straw man, a map model.
So why did the globe earthers have to create a debate where they used a easily debunkable single pole pressurized pizza dome model? Why did they have to do that if they stood on the truth?
Yeah, it's not about proving the SVR model in that moment. It's about forcing them to explain why they set up the debate to exclude it. Give them permission to stay on message. We're going to keep saying this. Make it clear to your audience. It's okay to repeat the same question 10 times, 100 times. How many ever times you get asked something, just one more time is all you got to do it. Repeat the same question. That's how controlled narratives are broken. Example, a shill says, explain how seasons work on your model. You explain why your debate rigged the premise to exclude the SBVR model first. And so they ask their question, you respond with yours. They ask their question, you respond with your statement.
Over and over and over again. Your job is to continue to point out the false dichotomy that Will created over and over again.
So point 4, you can win by making their rig structure visible. Train your viewers to understand.
You don't need to debunk the globe Earth. You don't need to prove the SBVR model. What you need to do is expose the false dichotomy. That is it. This over and over again. We're going to keep saying that.
Every time the moderators or Will Duffy dodge the SBVR topic, they're exposing the rigged nature of the debate. Your mission is to document, timestamp, and call out the dodges live in chat.
So we need you to learn. We need you to learn
screenshot.
How to do screenshots, how to record your videos, how to use your cell phone to take screenshots, how to use your laptops, your Macs, whatever Windows computers you have. You have to do some work. You have to learn how to type a message in the chat. And we're going to, again, in the pinned comment that below this video, you're going to have all of these choices that you can copy and paste. And after you do that, you take a screenshot of it so that you can have evidence that you've participated, because they're going to delete, hide, and do everything they can like a squirmy snake to slither out of being held into position.
5, you are there to represent a silenced majority. Frame their participation as activism, not ego. It's not here you try and, oh, I'm the smartest person in the world, I can debate Will Duffy. You got to be the activist just to get this debate to happen, because they're trying to box us out. You're not here to win a debate on your own. You're part of a larger awakening, pushing back against gatekeepers.
That's the goal. Just getting your voice heard, getting out there and saying this is a rigged debate.
So mobilization slogan. These are the slogans to get just in your head. Not a defender, a disruptor, demand the third option. Psychological tactics to remove fear of looking stupid if they try to bait you. Just loop back to the false dichotomy trap.
Yeah, Will be, well, explain to me what a tangent is, or, where does the sun set on your model? You are not, I repeat, Will, I am not here to teach you anything about the SBVR model, nor am I here to debunk the globe model. I'm here to expose the fact that you have forced a false dichotomy and rigged a debate. That's all you have to say over and over again.
You can say, I don't know, because this debate is rigged anyway.
Yes, you can be honest and say, I don't know, right? But I do know that you rigged the debate.
A powerful reply, I don't have to know everything about the SBVR model to recognize when a debate is staged to exclude it. Be a recorder, not a combatant. Audience members can focus on documenting instances of censorship, straw man tactics, and avoidance. So let me jump over to this real quick. And so this was announcing the final debate participants 6 days ago. And, if you look here in the chat, it's you, me, and YD, and also Jerry. Jerry was there as well. But if you were to skip through this, you'll actually see that we completely dominated and manipulated the chat with just 3 people. So just imagine if there was not 3 of us, but there was 20 of us, or 50, or 100 people that actually cared about the truth and were actually commenting against Will and standing on record, getting some timestamps. Now, one of the things I want to point out here is if we do a scroll through here, I have this one comment here that it looks like shows up. But if you were to actually go with your account, everybody, and scroll through the comments here, I can just about guarantee you that you're not going to see this. He's shadow banned my account, made comments here. And so anybody, if you've made a comment here and you don't see it showing up, we need you to document that. If you go in with your account, it should still show up like mine does. But what he's done is shadow banned you.
You need to log out and then go through the comments again.
Yeah.
Always.
So I'm doing the scroll here, and if you've commented here and it doesn't show up, we need people to be documenting that. That's how you become a spiritual warrior. And we call out this false dichotomy psyop. So get down here and we'll see there's a couple. We've got one from Virtual Reality Witness. Now, I left the comment in here with Awake Souls to support it, but nope, that's deleted. And we've got more like that. Your comment didn't show up.
Censorship. There's Jerry.
We've got Jerry. And so Jerry shows up. But what we're saying is comment to the hilt.
There's Jay Skills.
Lay it on thick. So Jay Skills, I have one comment that I was able to get in here with a different Awake Souls channel that hasn't. Yeah. Okay. 2 that show up here.
Wow. So
the rest of my comments are hidden, but you can see that I was trying to get some comments out there, and then that's it. That's all the comments on it. So it is your job to leave comments, people, and then to actually scan through it and see whether or not you're being censored. And if so, to document it. And if you share it with us, that's what we'll be using as evidence against these people, right?
Remember, this is just week 1. We've got still 2 more weeks to go over this. So there's going to be 3 podcasts in total. We're supposed to be just dipping our toes into the water here.
All right. So talking about down the road here, actionable steps for you to prep audience for August 23rd. So the last podcast, which will be August 22nd, what we would like to do is set up a StreamYards hangout where people can join via StreamYards and you can actually practice.
The way that he's going to have a StreamYard stream. He's not going to use Zoom. He's not going to use Google Hangout. He's going to use StreamYard.
And what we would like to do is have people join, become familiar with the process. And then if you want, we'll start playing the part of Will Duffy, and we'll sort of live role play it, and we'll stop and we'll say, all right, well, I sort of baited you into, I asked you a question, I got you off topic. Let's stop. And what should we be doing here? Well, if it's not something that you're totally comfortable with, just go right back to the false dichotomy and demanding the third option.
No, that is the only thing that we want people discussing, is that this is a rigged debate and it's a false dichotomy. And until Will has the debate with Awake Souls and the Limitless channel, it's not over.
All right. So build a Telegram Discord coordination group. Well, we've got multiple groups, and in the Team Yahushai chat group, we've created a new topic, which is exclusive to this. So anybody, if you want to coordinate on this upcoming final debate, that's the place to do it. The links are in the description box. So here, what we have now is a list of 25 copy and paste comments that you can throw into a chat. There are 200 characters or less, and they have these different groupings. And so these are in the PDF that's in the description box. Like Ron said, we'll put these in a pinned comment as well. But these, once you've copied these are things that you can use in the debate, where all you have to do is copy and paste it. So 1, this is a rigged debate. Spaceball versus AE map as a false dichotomy. Where is the SBVR model? Why does this debate only allow two false models? Demand the Stereographic Biblical Virtual Reality, the SBVR model. False choice detected. The AE map was designed to fail. You're hiding the real third option, SBVR model. Debating two fake models is a psyop. The SBVR model is being silenced here. If both your options are flawed, this debate is a setup. Let's discuss the SBVR model. So these are moderator controlled opposition callouts, where if you see these things, why is the moderator blocking discussion of the SBVR model? Who benefits from this censorship? Every time you avoid the SBVR model, you're proving this debate is staged. Controlled opposition loves false dichotomies. Where's the SBVR model in this debate? Ask yourself why the SBVR model is banned from this discussion. Censorship is proof of fear. This isn't a debate, it's a scripted psyop. Let the third option, SBVR, be debated. These demands name repetition for visibility. So you're going to have a lot of people saying, well, what's the SBVR model? We have to just keep hammering Stereographic Biblical Virtual Reality, or SBVR for short. So SBVR model, Stereographic Biblical Virtual Reality. Why is this model forbidden here? Talk about the Stereographic Biblical Virtual Reality, SBVR model, or admit this debate is rigged. Until the SBVR model is addressed, this debate is a distraction. You can't hide the SBVR model forever. People are waking up. In fact, polls have shown, like Ron mentioned earlier, 56% of people on a 4 million poll say that, yeah, it's quite likely the Earth is a virtual reality. Stop dodging the SBVR model. It's the third option you fear. So tactical loops and dodging exposures. Dodge SBVR once, it's a mistake. Dodge it twice, it's a psyop. Debate trap exposed. Spaceball versus AE map equals false. Where's the SBVR model? Every evasion of SBVR is timestamped. You can't hide this. Nobody asked for a fake model debate. We want the SBVR model discussed. Why build a debate on a model you know is flawed? The AE map, let's talk SBVR. And censorship and narrative collapse comments. Silencing SBVR makes this debate illegitimate. Truth doesn't fear scrutiny. Censoring the third option exposes this debate as narrative control, not truth seeking. Why are you so afraid of the SBVR model? Free discussion terrifies controlled narratives. Censorship of SBVR confirms this isn't science, it's managed perception. And debating only rigged models is how controlled opposition keeps the truth hidden. SBVR now.
And later on, the next week and the following week, we will get more deep into those copy and paste, and we're going to continue to learn and come up with tactics to make sure that you stay firmly founded on the only thing that we are there to do is to expose that Will created a false dichotomy. That is it. That is the only thing that needs to be done, and we'll move forward after that.
So, strategic instructions, consistency is key. Encourage viewers to stick to a few core comments and flood them persistently. Adapt to what's happening live. If the moderators avoid the SBVR topic comments, 7, 16, and 18 become priority. Be polite but firm. No need for insults. The focus is on exposing the setup, not getting banned. Hashtags. SBVR model. Hashtag false dichotomy. Hashtag debate rigged. All right, so this is prepping for this final debate, and we'll be there, and we're going to be encouraging as many people as possible to get their timestamps for actually having participated.
Join. Yeah, we want you to join. Yeah. And we want you to say that this is a rigged debate. Hashtag false dichotomy. Hashtag rigged debate.
Yeah, and so you can't deny that we exist. It was May 5th. The final experiment is the false dichotomy destruction of the fake flat earth psyop exposed. We were the first on this as soon as we heard about it. And right here, listen.
Let's go to Antarctica. Let's look at the path of the sun on that date. You got it on August 8th. Get it on that date. We want to go to December 14th is when they want to do their experiment. I'm going to drum roll, please, everybody. This is what is expected to take place.
We have to pick a latitude. So here.
All right. So I was just guessing. I didn't know what latitude they were going to be at. I'm at 79.25. That's really close.
Anywhere on Antarctica, anywhere. Just pick any spot on Antarctica. Let's be super. You can go closer. It can't be on the tip of that thing, but I mean, give it closer to the land.
This was right. So this was the very first time we covered it, and we already are showing the path of the sun.
Way years before Will Duffy ever showed up on the scene.
Yeah. And then if we look back here, we look at our coverage, it's been over a year. We've been all over this. In fact,
yeah, we've got memes.
So
we'll be building it up.
This was us announcing it. This is when the identity was revealed, because it was all secretive, right? And right away we were pointing out how Jaron was going to go and say that Earth's a ball and say that he was upside down. And live interview. So actually had Will Duffy on the channel, got to interview him live and let him know that there's a third model. So how can he still say that there's no third model? It's just absolutely insane.
Just on his merit, he doesn't believe you. But anyway, so again, let's go back and tie this off. Very simple, very sweet. What we need people to understand is that we want you to get involved and become someone that's fighting for the truth. We don't want you to become some hateful person. We need Will to be exposed as someone that created a false dichotomy because he did. And that's it. It's not going to be complicated. It's not hard.
That's it. So this is part one. And we need your input, everybody. If you're being censored, we need you to send us that proof and we'll share it live. That's part of this war against this false dichotomy. We need that information. We're documenting where we're being censored, but it takes a group of us to actually get some attention. And yeah, we're looking forward to getting prepped for this. I really hope we have some real participation from some people and some serious pushback so that we get a real debate, and then we can really let loose with all the nitty-gritty details, right?
That's going to be great, everybody. Come on. This is when game time starts, when we actually get in the debate ring with Michael Toon and Will Duffy. This is when you're going to get to see the actual truth shine. I can't wait for that. But Jason, I thought this was a great first step towards exposing Will Duffy's final dichotomy experiment. And I'm just grateful that everybody in the chat showed up tonight. Anybody that leaves a comment, again, there'll be a pinned comment with what we'd like you to start putting into the chats and getting your voice out there and taking screenshots and documenting everything.
All right. Well, it's been a great night. Where's the only place people are going to get this content, brother?
Only on the Yahushua News Networks.
I don't really want to save my soul tonight. I don't really want to slow it down. No, I'm not looking for a calm down. Everybody's got their own